Welcome back, my friends. This is Sushant Ishwani. I am the CEO and co-founder of 3Touchpoints, a full-service web analytics consulting firm based out of Pennsylvania, USA. First of all, I would like to welcome you all in a first and exclusive blog series on optimizing your e-commerce business using your in-house web analytics solution. Secondly, all of those who are new to this blog series, I would highly recommend checking out our previous blog posts and videos at conversionpath.typepad.com. Now, let's jump on to our next topic of this week, which is another interesting question being asked to me by an e-commerce manager working with a health and nutrition brand in the North America market. And his question was, we are rolling out a new feature on our website, but our e-commerce service provider have suggested us to exclude analytics for now, considering the aggressive launch timelines and the higher project cost. How should we tackle or respond to these kind of questions from our e-commerce service provider? Remember, in last 8 years, every project I have worked on in the e-commerce industry had an aggressive timeline associated with it, with no scope for cost creeping, but that should not be a justification for excluding analytics from the scope of the project. If you hear these kind of justifications from your e-commerce service provider, then it's absolutely clear that still analytics is not fully ingrained into the software development lifecycle process. Just like many other vendors in the industry, your e-commerce service provider treats analytics like any other product because their developers are writing a code, their QA team is testing it, and in simple technology terms, there's a cost incurred to enable analytics on the website. And as per e-commerce service provider, that should be billed to the client. But if you go to the core of the problem, you will find that both parties are equally responsible for this issue. Let me share with you some of the interesting and common mistakes being made by both parties when a new project is submitted. Here are some mistakes from the brands and retailers. Number one, there's a simple lack of aggressiveness from both brands and retailers to include analytics into the project. Second, oftentimes when the project is submitted, the goals and the success metrics associated with the project is often not clearly articulated in the requirements documentation. Following are the 4 common reasons behind this. Number one, the business team didn't work on the project goals and the metrics before submitting the project. Number two, business team worked on the goals and metrics, but they didn't feel a need for sharing with the project team because they have a perception that the technology team is highly technical and have no analytical expertise. Number three, every project that goes into the production should have analytics component included in it. It's a common sense. This perception of the retailers and brands is not in sync with the project team. In the past, having analytics component included in the project delayed the launch process. So there's no point repeating the same mistake. This kind of an attitude gives edge to the e-commerce service provider and they start taking analytics seriously. Now here are some mistakes generally being performed by your e-commerce service provider. Still, majority of the e-commerce service providers in the market treat analytics as any other product on their platform. This is one of the biggest flaws in their thought process. Analytics should not be treated as a separate product, but in fact, it should be considered as one of the checkpoints in the launch process. Just like QA comes after development and development comes after system designing. Number second, since analytics is not fully ingrained into the software development lifecycle process, oftentimes the project teams do not ask questions regarding business reports and metrics. Number three, controlling cost and gaining efficiency is one of the most important goals for any e-commerce service provider in the industry. in order to achieve that goal, a lot of effort gets made every year to productize each and every solution on the platform so that a standard and economical product offering could be rolled out. While creating these standard product offerings, every effort gets made to avoid dependency on other products and solutions, including analytics, so that the cost can be controlled and the rollout should be efficient and bug-free. For example, you went to your e-commerce service provider and asked them to enable reviews and rating solution from Bazaar Voice on your site. And since your e-commerce service provider has a standard rollout process for Bazaar Voice with no analytics component baked into it, you get no reporting in your solution for this feature. If you ask your vendor, why didn't they bake the cost of analytics into a reviews and rating solution, you would get the following dumb responses. Number one, not every brand and retailer on a platform has analytics on their website. So we can't have two distinct reviews and ratings offering, one with analytics and one without analytics. Number two, not every brand and retailer on our platform has a similar analytics solution. So we can't have distinct offering for each analytics solution on our platform. I have met a lot of project teams in the past who have no analytical skills and hate to work on analytics related projects because testing these projects requires good amount of product knowledge and they don't find it interesting going to the reporting tool and validate the reports. That's because they believe that's the job of the business team and they are not responsible for how the data gets presented. This kind of attitude and negligence often results in analytics often excluded from the scope of the project. Isn't it sad? Anyways, with this, we conclude this post, and as usual, I expect your valuable feedback and criticism on my blog site, that is conversionpath.typepad.com. And with this, thank you very much, my friends. Thanks for listening and be a valuable